Leading businessman Digby, Lord Jones, has ruled himself out of the race to become Birmingham's first elected mayor because he thinks it'll be a job without any real power.
Lord Jones has told the BBC's Sunday Politics programme that to make any major political impact, the mayor needs to be in charge of the whole West Midlands region.
Just at this fabulous opportunity, this moment when we could change governance in Birmingham and the West Midlands forever, if we don't lift our ambitions up to the horizon of the West Midlands, as opposed to just Birmingham, we will really miss a trick. Because we've got to get round the world selling the West Midlands. It's 5.3 million people. It's bigger than Scotland. And we have so many challenges, and people who live in the West Midlands don't actually differentiate about where they live and where they work and whatever. They are in a group together. And I think it should be a mayor of the West Midlands, or frankly, it will fail.
A referendum on whether or not to have elected mayors will be held in both Birmingham and Coventry in May. But while Lord Jones claims the role doesn't go far enough, critics say it would actually concentrate too much power in too few hands. Here's our political editor, Patrick Burns.
They said yes to an elected mayor in Stoke-on-Trent, only to vote no and abolish the job 6 years later.
Democracy for Stoke, no more elected mayors.
And despite Stoke's epic on-off drama, the man who first did the job here thinks it is now time for Birmingham and Coventry to update their local government.
If you were running Stoke City Football Club, for instance, I don't think Tony Pullis would say it would be better if we ran it by a committee. We have leaders, and that's why organisations succeed.
Ministers are consulting over extra powers for cities which elect mayors. The voters will be asked to choose either to retain the council leader system or replace it with a Ken or Boris figure.
A yes vote in May's referendums in Birmingham and Coventry would only trigger more questions. What should be the powers of the mayor? Economic regeneration is the government's big idea, along with things like housing and transport. But what then would the councillors do? Well, scrutinise the mayor, of course, and also probably speak up for their own local areas, which in turn leads to the question of localism. How could the mayor keep close to local communities while also at the same time acting as a champion for the city in the wider world?
Coventry's Labour-controlled council has voted overwhelmingly against the idea.
Coventry is being forced to have a referendum, and there's no evidence from the citizens that we want one. And that means that we have had to undertake costs of 130,000 in respect to the referendum. We could have a further election in November, which would cost us a further 130,000.
Elected mayors may seem more American, presidential, with Super Tuesday and their race for the White House just over 2 weeks away. Here, November the 15th, with elections for local police commissioners and potentially for elected mayors too, could be our Super Thursday.
Well, Patrick's here right now. So, Patrick, does Lord Jones have a point then? Could it be a job without any real power?
I think the answer to that is that to some extent the job would be what the successful candidate made of it, because the intriguing thing here is that they will have an opportunity during the course of this campaign to sell to the electorate some extra powers beyond the defined powers that the government's setting out. So there is an opportunity for the candidate to mould the job to their requirements. I think what we're seeing there is that Digby Jones is used to the business world, which is about control. What politicians will say it's about persuasion, bargaining, things like the airport and the NEC outside the city, yes, but the city council has had a huge bearing on them.
Of course. Well, we know about the referendums, don't we? They're in May. Birmingham and Coventry are all voting. What do you think the public mood is for this?
Well, we couldn't go out on the streets and find people talking in great numbers about the elected mayor on a Friday night, but I think the debate is further advanced in Birmingham than in Coventry. Political watchers think that this city in Birmingham is more likely to deliver a yes than Coventry. Parties will have a big job selecting candidates, mobilising a campaign through the autumn political season.
Interesting. Thanks very much indeed, Patrick. And there'll be more on elected mayors on the Sunday Politics programme from 12 noon on BBC1.
Now,